disturbingly, there's a report now. It's come out from a couple of different places. Politico is the origin of it, saying that, here is, Politico, U.S. Central Command, that's the group overseeing our military operation overseeing the Middle East war, is now saying internally that this war against Iran is likely to last through September. According to info obtained by Politico, it's costing us $1 billion a day. So this would easily be over $100 billion if that's true. I've seen this a couple different places reporting what Politico reported. I haven't actually seen the original Politico report, but September, first the president said, I could do it in 4 or 5 days, but I might need 4 weeks. Then he said maybe 4 to 5 weeks. And then we had, I think it was Pete, suggest maybe 8 weeks. Definitely an administration official said could be looking at 8 weeks now. And the president saying, I don't have the yips about doing boots on the ground. And now we have leaked potentially to Politico through September. We're going to be over there, which is, by last I checked, 2 months before November when we have the midterms. And let me just play you something from Harry Enton on the midterms. I think most people are kind of assuming we're going to be losing the House over on Team Red, but the Senate was thought to be not really in competition because just the way the map lays out this year. But take a listen to this in SOT 23.
Okay, talk to me about that. If it helps the Democratic chances, what does that do to the overall odds in the U.S. Senate?
Yeah, overall odds of the U.S. Senate. This is just a segment which is just great news for Democrats. And what are we talking about here? This is, I think, the biggest change that we have seen in the national picture, which was all along we thought that the Democrats would win back the House of Representatives. That was the most likely possibility. But at this point, look at this. Look at the change in odds from a year ago, the chance of winning the Senate. Republicans had an 81% chance a year ago. Look at this. It is fallen through the floor. Now it's just a 56% chance. Democrats' chances way up to a 44% chance. There's a real fight on their hands Republicans have, not just for the House, which they're likely to lose, but for the Senate as well.
Oh my God. Your thoughts on where we are right now?
Nothing but respect for Harry Enton's perpetual ShamWow energy. It's giving ShamWow guy. He always is. Excellent stuff, Harry. But listen, independents are not on board. First of all, before this war started, the economy was a really tough sell for the administration among independents. Now, the war has been clearly, when we look at polling, a very tough sell among independents. So now they have double. That's why Trump was on his affordability tour. We saw that it's still happening, but that's why as the new year came about, it was, we're going to get the president focused like a laser on the economy, on cost of living. And now, on top of that, he has to defend this war. There's been, clearly pretty mixed messaging. They've struggled with messaging this week. You have 6 dead Americans. If you have a war that goes through September, that number inevitably ticks up. It's going to touch communities around the country. It's already touched Iowa. It's already touched Minnesota. It's touched people all over the country who have lost their young men and women. And that's in the local news. That's hitting people. Independents are seeing it. So it's going to be, I don't even want to talk about this in a political sense because it's a moral and substantive policy question. But the politics of it, Trump has seen, Harry Enton's pointed this out too, his support among Republicans is like record levels. It's very high. It's actually still lower than it was before, which means in a midterm cycle, voter enthusiasm, the thing you need to get people off their couches to vote in the first place, that's a problem for him. So those are 2 places that you can't afford to be losing anything among independents and among hardcore people who need to be convinced to get off their couch and support Republicans and be excited about a Susan Collins, be excited about, Republican in Nebraska. Those are going to be tough. So I think the Senate actually is in play now that we're at war.
That's a nightmare. That's a true nightmare if the Democrats control the Senate. Depending on how many seats they could potentially get, now you could have impeachments in the House that would lead to actual convictions. Over there on the Senate side. I doubt it. But if they have control, they can thwart every single piece of the president's agenda. Not to mention, then they're better set up because they're not supposed to win this time, the Senate. The map is much better for them in 28. And so they'll be better set up to get way more seats in that election and possibly win the presidency. And then we have full Democratic control with potentially a filibuster-proof majority. I mean, like, that could happen. So like, that's catastrophic thinking. We're not there yet, but like, this should not last till September. This can end this week. You know, there's a lot of pressure on President Trump, by the way, that we did confirm that was in Politico. So it's not just random accounts retweeting. Here it is. U.S. Central Command, meanwhile, is asking the Pentagon to send more military intelligence officers to its HQ in Tampa, Florida, to support operations against Iran for at least 100 days, but likely through September, according to a notification obtained by Politico. It's the first known call for additional intelligence personnel for the Iran war by the admin, and a sign the Pentagon is already allocating funding for operations that may stretch long beyond what President Donald Trump initially said would be a 4-week timeline for the conflict. Okay, so there we go. September. We can't have this thing go on. I don't even think it should last another 4 weeks, never mind several months until the month before the midterms. And the problem is, Emily, the longer it goes on, the more sins the Iranians have committed against us and our allies that then need to be answered for, the more it spreads. You know, now you already have a bunch of these Arab countries in the Gulf saying, like, we may get involved in this shit because we're taking incoming and like, this is bullshit. We're not going to just sit here and be hit by the Iranians. So like, the war is potentially spreading, and by September could spread even more. Like, this thing needs to wrap up. President Trump can declare victory. I got rid of the Ayatollah, a bunch of the bad guys. I damaged their missile facilities. I did more damage to what was left of the nuclear program. I gave you a running shot. I talked to the Kurds in Iraq who have some camaraderie with the Kurds in Iran. They're going to come across. This is like Iraq all over again, by the way. This is exactly the shit we did back then. But okay, but now I'm out. Now it's like, I gave you a running start, but I don't have to run the race for you.
Well, this is what's frightening me right now, is that they're learning the Colin Powell, you break it, you buy it maxim in real time. Because people forget, in the lead up to the Iraq war, George W. Bush was campaigning, literally he was campaigning against nation building before 9/11 happened. You've played clips on the show in the last few days. It's been so helpful, but just hearing the debate has been so helpful. But having Dick Cheney talk about the timetable for Iraq before the invasion, it's insane. And you always, I mean, you can say, as Pete Hegseth has said, to his credit, that he's a reformed neocon. Trump has campaigned against nation building and forever wars and dumb wars. And then when you're in the situation, you end up realizing you break it, you buy it. If you leave, you then become responsible for what steps into the power vacuum. If it's an ISIS-like thing or whatever, I mean, you're constantly hearing, this is not Iraq, this is not Afghanistan, from defenders of the war, from people in the administration. But the fear is that it's going to turn into it, because inevitably, when you topple the head of a regime that still has some support in the country, it's certainly not 100% of the Iranian people. Many of the Iranian people are so glad the Ayatollah is gone, but there's still some support. The IRGC still exists. There's still plenty of weapons in the country. That means that you have a huge problem on your hands that you now own, because you're the one who took him out. And that's what I think is right now raising red flags for a lot of people when they say, when they're hearing timetables shifting already.
No. We sunk the Navy. We control the airspace. That's great. We did a lot. Of course, our boys and gals in uniform got in there and did a stellar job, and that's great. Let's declare the W and get out. And let President Trump spend the next 8 months, or however many it is, till November, focused like a laser, as they promised, on the economy. Just, town to town, because gas prices, oil prices are going up, gas prices are going up. Like, all of that is going to cost Republicans at the polls. Like, people, the one thing they wanted was the economy to ease up, for their, their pocketbook to be a little bit easier. This is not going to help that. And while Republicans support the war, like you point out, not all of them, the independents are over. I haven't seen one poll that has anything better than independents 72% against this. All of the Democrat Party is against it. And over 70% of independents in every poll I've seen oppose the war. Like, you can't win elections with those numbers, whether you think it's righteous or not. You cannot win elections with those numbers. You do need independence, unless you have a Republican Party that is incredibly enthusiastic and every last man is going to run from his couch to go make sure they pull a lever. And as you point out, that's not how the GOP is feeling right now. So this has got to wrap up. And by the way, for Israel supporters, it's got to wrap up for Israel too. all the negative behavior and attitudes towards Israel grew throughout the whole Gaza conflict. Then Trump settled that and things were kind of settling down. Israel was off the front pages. That was very good. That was better for Israel. And now they're right back in the center of it, again, which only leads to more negative feelings because the administration has been telling us they're the reason we got into this. It's like they have to understand, at least from a PR perspective, how bad this is, Emily.
Yeah, I mean, and the problem is blaming voters for their cooling sentiments towards Israel and blaming TikTok and blaming everyone without grappling and saying, okay, well, maybe we should trust that they're not all bigoted and they're not all anti-Semitic and they're not all dumb, and make better arguments. And that's really been, I think, a huge part of the problem here. It's a problem with the administration selling this war. You've seen them freak out about inconsistent messaging. I think their inconsistent messaging speaks to a muddled strategy to begin with. But the problem selling this from now until November is Democrats now have clip shows they can play constantly of different things being said while we are at war, losing Americans in the Middle East again, because the messaging was a disaster. And that's, I mean, I don't see actually any sign of them having better messaging about this going forward. They're still not telling us clearly whether or not it's a war. Mark Wayne Mullen just yesterday referred to it as a war. Reporter said you referred to it as a war. And he said, oh, that's a misspoke.
Think about this. In 2006, $20,000 equaled roughly 33 ounces of gold at spot price. Okay, $20,000 got you 33 ounces. At today's prices, those 33 ounces would be worth about $165,000. That would have been a very good investment. And that's why so many smart Americans do diversify a portion of their savings into precious metals. They're thinking about what's going to happen in the next 20 years. And it's also why you should consider buying gold from Birch Gold Group. For thousands of years, gold has been a store of wealth. And today, it is a crucial part of any balanced strategy. Even better, Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered retirement account in gold. All you have to do is text MK to the number 989898, and that will give you a free info kit on gold. There's no obligation. It's just useful information from which you can make a decision. With an A+ rating, with the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, let Birch Gold help you diversify with gold. Now that's peace of mind. Again, text MK to 989898 today. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.